Right, welcome back to MK Sportscars and Kit Car Direct. We are on with a little separate video that we're doing, which is for the RX-5 build. Now, we've done a couple of these build videos over the time. This is going to be, as we said, the next sort of demo car. We've got the turbo car still here, and we'll be running that. Not a problem, but we wanted to do a stock engine one again, with a little bit more spice to it maybe. So what we did from last time, picking up, you can see we had some wrapping done on the bodywork. So we've wrapped it in this, I think it's called jazz blue or something like that, the bodywork colour. I'm sure it's jazz blue. It's quite nice actually, quite nice sparkle to it. And there's a separate video about the wrapping of this and what Lewis and Andy and how big the swear jar got with it, because it was big, how that got on. So watch out for that and how easy it is to wrap a car. Yeah, I'm not even going to say any more on that one. Right, but here we go, eyes down looking at the front of the car. Where are we up with? So we've got the 70mm core radiator on this. We've got it slightly bit bigger, so it might be doing some track action, this car, at some point. Got 2.4 quick rack on this. It's plenty quick enough for the track and plenty quick enough for the road. It seems to be the perfect balance of this. It's our front suspension that's on now. This is all in, and our we've put brand new rotors on it here. Don't need the cross-Jordan venting. The solids is plenty good enough for this particular car with this sort of power. We don't really need it, and we're going to do a Willwood four-pot on this as well. The bracketry is all on, so it's our own bracketry that we custom make for that. So if you're into MX-5 stuff and you want to fit the 256 with a Willwood, well, then we do the kit for that, whether it's another brand, M&R, GBS or whatever, but these all fit on the Mazda upright. Now these are all nicely shot blasted and powder coated to make them look nice and new. Moving on to the engine. Engine's in now. These bits have come back from powder coat with them vapor blasted and then coated in a powder coat and a wrinkle finish on the plenum here, and then we'll be doing some ducting here that we're just hand making. Don't normally need to do it, but we're just doing it a little extra mile on that for the air filter. This will twist around and the air filter will go in here, so make a little cold air feed, because the cup nose cone has the ducting in the front, and we thought that would be nice to direct that cold air feed into there, keep the intake temps down as well. So on with here, exhaust system, new exhaust manifold, and the link pipe. We've put the largest 720, it's like the cup exhaust actually, we've put on there. Noise is never a problem with both silencers, but this will be even quieter if we're going to do a little bit of track work with this car. Everything else is all in. Steering column, that's all done, refurbed. Steering link bar, remembering that when we do this steering link bar, it's something we do as an exchange item with you guys. If you're buying a kit, and we modify that to length, because it's a collapsible column that goes down to there. Throttle body was all nicely vapor blasted, that's all in, and then we're just doing linking up, making a new link pipe we have for that, and we're going to make this, we've drilled out this on the rocker cover and put in a different T. This normally is a straight, because we're going to go to a catch tank just on here as well. We have done the coolant reroute kit. We've run it round on this side. Now you can do it both sides, there's different kits out there and available, but if you buy some of the aftermarket kits, it has a spacer and it pushes out here. You do have to trim your bulkhead, which is what we don't like. I think it looks a bit ugly when you have to cut a big hole in it here, so we've gone with this direction for that reason. And then under here, all the wiring's in now, so our loom all mounted onto our ECU panel. Loom's all installed, Motorsport Electronics, ECU, the 360 there, and might see that change to something else, but we'll discuss that nearer the time. The wiring's all gone in for that. It's a plug and play loom that we do, so it all literally is plug in here, plug in for your coil packs, plug in for the injectors. We're just going to put some new injectors in. We decided that, in fact, they've just literally arrived. There's the box. The standard injectors are fine, but they've done like 100,000 miles, so we thought, well, let's just try and keep reliability up. We'll stick some new injectors in there. Air temp sensors all in, and then all the brake pots and everything that's all done. So that's kind of your front end system here, and we put some extra vents in. Which way do you think? What do you think, guys? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I don't know. I think they look quite cool actually. They match both sides. I don't know. It's just something we thought, do different. Why not? I think they look a bit unique, a bit different to what we normally do. So move on to the middle of the car. It's the Mazda column, that's all in, and our Mazda dashboard, and this will then retain the standard gauges and instruments, we do the wiring for those. Again, we have to modify 2 or 3 different plug sets that come from the binnacle here, because you can't get the original wiring plugs. We have to modify them and make a daughter loom to plug into our loom, and for the ECU to wire up to these gauges. Now, talking about gauges, this is your standard instrument binnacle set, but you probably can't see, but there's a subtle difference here. Normally these don't have like a silver white edge to them, so this is what we've done, and I'll show you on our demo car. Right, here we go. You see the differences quite visually now. It kind of makes them look like an individual instrument rather than the plain black that's in there. And it was just a subtle thing you could do with a paintbrush at home. So, you know, it's very DIY, because this cover comes off, it pops off, and you can get in there, polish this up, because it had a few scratch marks. We polished that up with some compound, made it look, I think, it looks quite smart. Hopefully give that a thumbs up as well there, guys, and something you can do at home and play around with when you're building your kit. Right, so we put them back on the shelf, but I suppose you could colour code that to your car. We could have made them blue, a bit like the gear knob. Look, made that blue. That's kind of a nice little touch that Lewis did for us. Now, standard Mazda 5-speed gearbox in there, and the prop shaft is a Mazda one that we then modify and shorten because it's too long in stock form, and then we use the Mazda handbrake, and we've got the loom all getting tied in here. It's all loosening at the moment, the handbrake cables, that's all new cables, new joining cable and new handbrake cables in there. Pretty much you'd seen the interior, but we have carpeted the inside here of the panels, just helps sound deaden it a little bit more, which is nicer, just gets it a nice sort of feel to it. Moving on to the rear end, what we've got here, diff you see done, so oil, quite important that you mark them up. We've got finish off the cables and rerouting, that's all done, and braced. We do the bracing on these, it's a common known thing. And then fuel tank in with the fuel pump and all the arrangement. Now we're doing a filler cap on this, because mainly because this might hit a track at some point, it's just easier to fill them up. Plus we don't like, if it does do racing, we don't like fuel panel and fuel caps in back panels, because if you ever get hit and rip that off, then the fuel cap comes with it and a lot of other problems. So rear setup here, we're just putting the number plate light in. We're doing it differently on this one, but it's a standard setup with a number plate light, that will be there, and we're going to put a fog light and everything else probably sit on the roll cage up here. Rear ends together, so standard Mazda rear upright with new bushing, all the drive shafts refurbished, new CV joint gone in, boots, everything, brand new rear calipers and discs. These here, this is just for your handbrake bracket that fits in there, and a lot of the times you don't get these little things, little fitting kits for your brake pads. These get lost and people put them in and it rattles and makes all kind of weird noises, so don't forget about your little fitting kit when you're changing your pads if it hasn't got them in. Some people lose them because they're about 13, 14, 15 pounds or something like that for a fitting kit, which is absurd, but that's what they charge for the Mazda parts these days. And yeah, a lot of them don't have that now, but it's got a tricky little fitting kit, so you can see how that goes to retain them to stop that. And then we got Mintex 1144 compound pads, which we use all the way around. It's a nice soft-ish pad that's good for this sort of weight of car. But yeah, what do you think on the colour, guys? What do you think on the colour of the rack? Is it nice? Is it good? What do you think? It's good, and you can see the other blue we had behind it that was painted, and we thought they were similar until you put them together. You probably can't see it on the video, but they are very, very different in the blue hues, as they are, shall we say. So yeah, she's cracking along quite nicely now. Next jobs to do is injectors to go in, we've got an air filter to do, we're going to be fitting can check actually, so that gauge is going to come part again. So in here we're going to put a can check gauge in the centre with that oil pressure gauge, which is not really an oil pressure gauge, it just tells you you've got oil pressure, or a switch so to speak. The Mark 1s had them, they had a working gauge, but the Mark 2s is just an earth, I think, signal basically that sings up. But we've got a digital gauge in there, and it will give us then the oil temperature and oil pressure, and we can then canvas that from the ECU, so that'll be wired into that. We can have some more information and data. I think you can actually get some data logging on that particular one as well. So it's just I'm going to say, put an insurance policy on that little engine, because she's as sweet as a nut at the moment. We just want to make an insurance policy, make she's all golden. So that's where she's at the moment. I like the colour. I mean, the colour, we're super happy with that. It looks really, really spot on. As soon as these black corners go on, it's going to look nice. We've got the nose cone all buttoned up and everything else, and you'll see that materialise. So if you're subscribing now, guys, then you can follow the continuation of the RX-5 build, or if you want to know information about the RX-5, whether it's with the Mazda engine in, or you're putting a K20 in there, because that's a very popular conversion that can be done, because the gearbox sits in exactly the same place, and it's just the engine then that's changing, the engine mounts and exhaust system and some wiring bits. But so both of those can be done. Then hook us up, phone call, email, or come and see us in the factory, and we can show you what's been going on. Merry Christmas, guys, and thanks for watching us during the course of, it's been several years now, and hundreds of videos have actually gone out. We appreciate you watching, we appreciate you liking and sharing our product, and people purchasing our product. And of course, for 2025, if you want to get yourself a bit of fun, a bit of enjoyment, and live life to the fullest, and have a little sports car that will put a massive smile on your face, hook us up here at MK Sportscars, and we can deliver you your glorious little sports cars. That's it, guys. Merry Christmas, and all of us here at MK Sportscars, and we will catch you in 2025.